To our second leading story, a center dedicated to the study and prevention of violent extremism and the de-radicalization of jihadists was on Tuesday inaugurated in N'Djamena, the Chadian capital. A group of independent Chadian intellectuals say they want to contribute to the de-radicalization of jihadists, especially to prevent extremism among the youth and young children.
Jerry, Chad, like the whole of the Sahel, has had to face two Islamic fronts, the first in the region of Lake Chad, in its southeast through the insurrection led by the Boko Haram. Now, despite the commitment of its troops since the summer of 2016, N'Djamena has not been able to liberate this region from armed groups linked to Boko Haram, a border region that also escapes control of Cameroon, Niger, and Nigeria, this despite the presence and support and intervention of American and French troops. Libya's civil war since 2011 has also affected its security in the northern region. Now, to better understand, we are joined by Ahmed Ayong, an Islamic scholar and social anthropologist from Yaoundé, Cameroon.
Ahmed Ayong, islamologue et socio-anthropologue à Yaoundé au Cameroun. Monsieur Ayong, bonjour. Alors, le Tchad s'est donc doté.
Now, Mr. Ayong, hello. And on Tuesday, Chad set up a center for the study of jihadism and de-radicalization, an initiative worked on by several security and anti-jihadist experts. What do you think it will take for this center to work effectively? Well, yes, to make it work, you need the expertise. That's what we lack in Africa. You know, in London, the British created a center for the eradication of violent extremism. So African countries should commit themselves to this kind of initiative. There is no shortage of expertise. We have people who have done very advanced theological studies, who have done sociological, anthropological, philosophical studies, and so we would have to associate people from these social sciences and the humanities to make it work. We absolutely must involve people from various specialties to make it work. I think that's what we have to do. That's the expertise we need, because terrorism is an ideology. It starts with an ideology, and as long as we don't try to eradicate the ideology, I don't think it's going to be a success. So it's necessary the expertise be sought to make it work.
Monsieur Ayong, il faut que l'expertise.
Now, experts must be called upon to make it work, you say, but is a task made easier when you don't see the enemy advancing? Well, people must first seek to understand the jihadist ideology. Who is behind this ideology? Imams, the preachers who are committed to radicalizing the youth. So we should be able to nip this root from this ideology from the root. Now, that is, people would have to be specialists in order to understand this phenomenon. It is not everyone. Today, everyone is standing up and talking about jihadism. Do they have the means and tools to fight jihadism? Jihadism is, first of all, a purely ideological phenomenon. Then it is materialized by the taking up of arms and violence, so that's where it starts. If ideally we succeed in the ideological and doctrinal fight, I believe we can completely eradicate this phenomenon in Africa. Well, what can we ultimately do to eradicate jihadism? What we need to do is cultivate tolerance instead. That is to say, everyone can be inclined towards Islam, but accept each other and cultivate the spirit of living together spirit of living together despite their differences, because what we often do is point out a finger at a group, and that's a mistake. To say that you are because you studied in such a country where there's such ideology. But what we need to do is cultivate a spirit of tolerance and eradicate the rejection of others and refuse extremism. So I believe what we need to do now is cultivate a good understanding of Islam, peaceful Islam, and tolerant Islam. I would like to conclude by saying that in Islam, there is a tenet that encourages peace, love, and harmony. These are the texts that must be promoted, and these are texts that must be interpreted according to their context.